Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Season 5 of Justified. So in Season 5, Raylan has to contend with the Crows, a crime family specializing in alligator farming. Now when I look at a lot of rankings of this show, from worst to best, I often find Season 5 on the lower end of the spectrum, with many actually deeming it to be the show's worst season, at least in the original run. And for me personally, I have to agree with this, as out of all 6 seasons, it's the one that simply didn't click with me. Case in point, I didn't like this one. It's not terrible, but it pales in comparison to the rest of the show. So let's get into it. So when it comes to the stuff I liked about this season, out of all of the individual storylines, my favorite one has to be Boyd's. You know, with Ava now being in prison, he ends up being torn between trying to get her out and selling heroin in Harlan. And this leads him down a very dangerous path. When it comes to the Crow family, while they are among my least favorite villains of the show, there were a few standout individual characters, such as Daryl Crow Jr., played by Michael Rappaport, who you might remember as Don Self from Prison Break, and he serves as the scheming, hot-tempered patriarch of the Crow family. Alicia Witt plays Wendy Crow, Daryl's paralegal sister, who he often uses to get the family out of trouble, and Kendall Crow is Daryl's teenage brother, whose lineage is actually a whole other mystery in of itself. And there's a couple of other noteworthy guest stars in this season, such as Amy Smart, Xander Barkley, Amari Nolasco, Eddie Guthegi, Mary Steenbargen, and real-life brothers Sam and Wood Harris. And the only other noteworthy thing about the season is the finale, which kind of makes up for the rest of it. But regardless, it did a good job in laying the groundwork for the final season. And now for the stuff I didn't like. Firstly, the Crow family as a whole. Yes, I mentioned liking a few individual characters earlier on, and I do like the idea of them being a Floridian family that decides to take their business to Harlan, making them an invasive species of sorts. Plus, it gets more interesting since Dewey is technically related to them, being a crow himself. But honestly, it just felt like the writers were trying a bit too hard to recapture what they had accomplished with the Bennett family in Season 2. And as a result, they didn't fully succeed. You know, by Justified standards, the family as a whole seemed a tad bit on the generic side. Another thing is that out of all the performances in the season, Michael Rappaport's was arguably the weakest. You know, it's not that his attempt at a southern accent is necessarily terrible, but you can tell that it definitely feels forced in a lot of ways. Then again, there's plenty of worse fake accents out there. When it comes to the overall structure and pace of the season, the first half was very messy. There's a bit too much going on with not all that much of a direction or focus, and most of what is set up just gets resolved around the midway point, making you wonder why some of it was even set up in the first place. However, it's because of this that the second half does at the very least end up feeling a lot more streamlined. And the one storyline that I was kind of mixed on was the prison storyline with Ava. While it was an interesting change of scenery for her, and I do like some of her interactions with some of the other female inmates, the storyline itself felt somewhat derivative of Orange is the New Black. So yeah, when you factor all of this in, it made for a very underwhelming season in an otherwise fantastic show. That being said, I'm sure there's some people out there who got a bit more enjoyment out of this season than I did, and if you're one of them, more power to you. But sadly, I'm not one of them. Luckily, the subject of my next video, that being the 6th and final season of Justified, is much better than this season. So look forward to that very soon, guys. Thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe. Ring the bell. Take care, and I'll see you soon.